Amém. Amen. 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 Today in Jewish history, and Jewish history tonight is tonight the yard site or high going. Who was supposed to give us a rundown on high going? Was that you? Or was that you? Who was supposed to give us? Oh, I'll see the one. Okay. Huh? Um, so that's tonight's yard. That's tonight's Shabbat Shalom Aliyah. Passed away in 1038 in the Common Era. Tonight is also the night that Paroi corners us. Yesterday, what? Not I think you don't. It's one, unlike my sukkahs, we do. Yeah, it's one number. Let me double check that in a second. I believe not. Just a second. Yeah. Also candles. So no Shechianu tomorrow night or the next night. No Shechianu the second day. Make Shechianu new food if you want. All right, so tonight, Parai is going to, after finding out yesterday that we are that we're not coming back from Mitzrayim. That's it. We're never again. We're not going back. So tonight, tomorrow, Parai is going to corner us in next to the water, and we are going to argue. That's what we do best. We argue. We're going to argue, and we're going to argue. We're going to divide up the 4 camps. And remember what the 4 camps are? One group says, one man kind of says, we'd rather go back to the Mitzrayim, right? Go back to the Mitzrayim. We'll just hands up. I was hit. I was there today. I was hit. Go back. Surrender. One says, no way, we're not surrendering. We're going to fight back. We're going to fight. Another group says, there's no way. We're not going back. There's no way we're going to win. They outnumber us. They out artillery us. There's no way. Forget about it. We're just calling quits. And the other group says, let's daven. We're Yidden. Let's daven. And which one did Hashem say? Okay, is the correct way? Neither. Hashem says, "Davar bnei Salvi." So I told you what to do. Just do what I told you to do. I told you which way to travel. Go the way I told you to travel. That's what you got to do. But they said, "Oh yeah, but there's water over there. What do we do?" And what does Moshe say? Hashem said, "You got to go that direction. That's the direction you got to go." And while everyone's scratching their heads, one guy, Nachshon ben Aminadab, he says, "All right, let's go." And he went forward into the water, and that took place tomorrow night. And that's why many people have the custom tomorrow night that they stay up all night because we're crossing the water then all night. So in the beginning of the night, tomorrow night, that I guess the Nachshon ben Aminadab went in, and like you see the puddle over there. Some people have a custom; they have a puddle that came from Hashem, but some people have a custom that on Shul Pesach at night, that seventh night of Pesach, which is tomorrow night, they put water. They stay up. First of all, we stay up tomorrow night, and we learn all night. And then towards the end of the night, they put water on the floor and they walk through. It's not Chabad custom. I think it's towards the morning, yeah. We stay up till the morning. Stay up till the morning, yeah.
We were crossing the sea the whole night. Like, would be eating. If it took the whole night, unless the night went by very quick. It was
He's saying it wasn't the whole night?
They closed it behind us when they were there. So we would be like in the same time.
I don't know what time. Anybody know how many hours it was it took us to cross the?
No, because before we already started crossing, we saw them and they were close.
Right.
So if it was the whole night, they would be caught up to us.
Good question. I know the answer. Anybody know the answer? Yeah, right. But so was from the beginning of the night till dawn? That's what Benji's asking. Was it the whole night, the entire night? I know it's through the night, but was it the entire night? I know when Nachshon went through, it was already night. I know when we got past the other side, it was almost morning. I don't know what time it was. I don't know how many hours it was. So it was the whole night, you're saying. So that's what she's asking. So you think it's a half hour? It was? Which half hour period was it? Okay. Okay, whatever. The same day, interestingly enough, the same day on Shal Pesach, so it's the day that Moshe left Midian to go back to Mitzrayim, to go back to Parod in the year 2447, after meeting the burning bush, and then going back to the burning bush, right? So we finally left Midian was on the Shal Pesach. And of course, that's the day that the sea splits. And yeah. Now, fast forward a couple of years. Miriam passes away. I think it's the year before we enter. We go into Eretz Yisrael, or I think it's the year before. And remember, we had the Be'er Shemiriam. We had the well of Miriam. The well of water which we drank from the desert, which was in the merit of Miriam. And the well, after Miriam passed away, the well stopped. It dried up. Moshe hits the rock. That takes place on Shal Pesach as well. Moshe hitting the rock takes place on Shal Pesach. So I guess when, yeah.
The one in front of you.
They say the last one was towards morning.
Yeah. So by the time the last one crossed, that would explain how much we could have done.
was a U-turn, right? It's sort of a U-turn, right? So in a U-turn, the outer circle of the U-turn takes a lot longer than the inner circle. But doesn't it say in Gemara? I remember learning somewhere that it took this the same time. Anybody remember Gemara like that? I vaguely remember. Yeah, it took the same amount of time.
Oh,
That's
the
right.
thing they would pay us to, they would weird back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the same
So
time.
at the same time, so then it wouldn't be. I mean, how much? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. So Archion, whoever finds the answer, report back. Anyway, so if that's the day that Moshe strikes the rock, that must be the day that Moshe also gets gets told that he's not going into Eretz Yisrael. Right? Must be. So the decree of Moshe not going into Eretz Yisrael also takes place. While I'm here, 1 second. In case anybody wants to stay up all night. So it's still 5:46. What's the time? Yeah, you can go to bed already. 5:46. And Achron Shepesach is the day of Yitzchak got his bris. The Yitzchak gets his bris. And it's the day that Yericho, Jericho, is encircled. Yeshua tells everybody to circle Yericho. When they conquer Eretz Yisrael, they conquer Israel. What? Yericho? You know what Rashi says? The Yericho is the key to Eretz Yisrael. That was the crazy thing when they gave away Yericho a couple of years ago. Like, I mean, like they couldn't have picked a worse place to give away. It was the craziest thing. But anyway, so
When the Mishmar went up to Israel, after went to Yerusalem, after went to Yerusalem.
anyway, so this first it took 7 days of circling Yericho till it fell in. Remember the Kohanim circled it, and they took the Aron with them, and they blew the shofar. Yeah. So 7 times 2 7 days, right? And that started on Achron Pesach, which I guess in Eretz Yisrael was day after Pesach, because Eretz Yisrael have 1 day of Pesach, 1 day of the last day of Yom Tov. Remember, Yeshua told them to get a bris right away. Why do they have to have a bris? To become Pesach. So it must be celebrated Pesach the first year. But maybe you're saying there was a war. Yeah. I don't know. No. That after close in on them.
No, that was one they were in.
But they weren't first chasing. They weren't first running, thinking they're going to catch into us.
So once they got.
Yeah, but anyway, even if they were walking,
They got fire. They didn't affect. It went in front of the mitzvah.
There's no proof, but according to Shazak Productions, according to that cartoon, they were chasing first the Yidden Mamish. Only after they were getting out, the Yidden didn't realize, were they still Yidden thinking that the Egyptians are going to come after them? Until every Yid got onto dry land, they still thought that maybe they're going to catch up to them.
While the mitzvah was still in the young, there's already like this fire that was in front of the fire.
Of course, they were all inside. You're saying that second they got into the Yam before the Yidden got out.
Yeah, before we
All right. That's that for this is it's also the yard site of Lori K. Remember Lori K? She was shot in Poway. It was on Achron Pesach. Sham Sham and Aliyah. I hope I was yotze today. Getting shot in the finger. Huh? I have no idea. Saying Goldstein got shot in the finger. So I hope I fulfilled my obligation. I'm all bruised up. I'm all still hurt. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. I'm all black and blue. Blood. Anyway, so on Shir Pesach we celebrate, of course, crossing the Yam Suf, crossing the Red Sea, and on Achron Pesach we celebrate going out of Golos completely, going out of Golos completely. That's why the Haftarah on the 8th day of Pesach is about the coming of Mashiach, and of course we have Mashiach's Uda, we have the Mashiach meal on last night Pesach. So that's that in Jewish history. Achron Pesach is also Yizkar. Yizkar is on the 8th day of Pesach. Okay, a few halachas over here. Okay, so unlike when we start asking for rain, Shmuel was we're asking for rain today. I said Marathon. I don't know what everyone else said. I think Marathon. But I think I said, no one corrected me. I think that's what I said. But unlike Tishrei time, where we start asking, we start mentioning Mashiach Ruach on Yom Tiv, but we only on Shmini Atzeres, but we only start saying Salamat Uracha in midwinter on December 4th or 5th. Over here, we start right away, or we start on Yom Tiv, we start saying Meir Hatal, and on Chol Hamoed we start saying the same bracha. Now, what happens if we forget? So it depends when we remember. If a person remembers before saying the second Yilei Ratzin, so we say Yilei Ratzin before the Kain Neshama, or the Kain Netzar, the Kain Netzar at the end of the Shema, and then we say after the Kain Netzar, before I say Shalom. So if a person remembers before saying the second Yilei Ratzin, so then we go back to the bracha of Baruch Aleinu, bracha which has in it the same bracha, and when we go back to the beginning of the bracha and we say over that bracha and we continue that we say over then the rest of Shemona Esrei. Now this applies to any time we remember after finishing the bracha Baruch Atah Hashem of Baruch Aleinu and going forward to the end towards the end of Shemona Esrei. If we remember before we say Baruch Atah Hashem, so then we just go back and we say the bracha again. If we remember after Baruch Atah Hashem until the second Yilei Ratzin, then we go back to the beginning of the bracha. If we remember after saying the second Yilei Ratzin, you're ready saying Oisei Shalom, you're going back and you say, go back Oisei Shalom, and then I forgot. So then we go back to the beginning of Shemona Esrei. Gotta repeat Shemona Esrei again. If you remember after the next tefillah the time for the next tefillah started. In other words, let's say you daven Shachris, finish Shachris already, and you remember, and it's already after midday. It's already time for Mincha. So, if you remember again before midday, you just do Shemona Esrei again. If you remember after Mincha, it's not time for Maariv yet. So you have to do the Shemona Esrei on Mincha again.
It's not the one. The winter one is no room.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
Just tell you what it says. It's a good question. I don't know. Must be a reason. Maybe it says the same time in Hagim. I don't know. Go check it out. So then, if you remember after, so let's say you remember after midday, so then you would daven mincha with two Shemona Esreis. You don't go back into your Shabbos again. You daven two amidas by mincha. Same thing by any other davening. If you got by mincha, then and very came time for Maariv, then you just do two amidas by Maariv. The same thing by Shabbos. Thank you. The what? So the rule is if a person forgot to daven Maariv, it happens. You didn't go to shul, you didn't set an alarm, you completely forgot. All right. So then you wouldn't daven Maariv at 7 o'clock in the morning. But instead you would daven regular Shacharis, and when it came time to Amidah, you do so then you daven an extra time to Amidah. So that's the same thing you would do. It would be as if you skipped Amidah. So the first one, always the first davening is the davening you're doing then, and the second davening is is your makeup one, your correction one. So let's say you forgot it by mincha. Now it's ready time for Maariv. So literally, so you would daven Maariv now with everybody. The first Amidah you would do would be Maariv Amidah, and the second Amidah you would do would be for mincha. All right, let's do Maariv. Page 118. Go on to daven. Shalom. It was a book. Page 118. Go down and have it on.
Maybe Lila, I'm building you in Lila, and it's which way, but I thought, you know, I'm married, but game pain of it, made of that, negative in Lila, but Vas always saw some men who were London, but I thought, you know, Adinai lechem amas. Malchus gewählt sind people allein, which they shall up on the street of separaba from the full. Malchus war of an apple, okay, on the nation, they on the room. Then my people the nation Yaakov, who be on the airport of men, but a catard, go out this show. Prince say away the time to Ich mir haben wir mir mal sparen ich habe sparen wir sollen uns sagen ich soll der soll wir soll was mit kurz auf die weil wir mir probieren fast ich raus ich befasse mir mal so da mir aber auch mal im Raum Cada vez cada shmira bo. Amadi graf de Yusuf am mokto se de asal par mi par mishin kai. Hayen me kai do kobisa ba ga man kari de mame. Ishmira bo bara to ne mai spare pisava spare disfrendo disnase this other this all this all shmedu kushabriho. Ela me kobe fas bisasa tu fasa na masa da miram da mavim amen. Es karos son de kobisa kadam aber mishmai de amen. Nishamra mishmai be kante de malina ba isalim amen. Es shal mi kan al yas shal malina ba isalim amen.
Good, so I can 136.
ولا خطا دنیا اینا ما کلام عشق کشان به میتوسا به من واصل اصلا ايوه هاي همیشه یمین با آن من أمر وهي آدم ما فكرت فهي ما هي من يخالش ما يخالش.
Amém. 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 Obrigado. Amém. 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 Oh yeah, tomorrow morning, 8:40. Tomorrow night, don't want to reserve for any of the meals, the after meals. Tomorrow night, next night, but it's low. Of course, we have Mashiach Suda, everyone together. Mashiach Suda on Thursday at 6:30. So Mincha tomorrow, and the next night's gonna be at 7:30. Thursday Mincha is going to be at 6:15, so the Mashiach Suda could start at 6:30 sharp. Anyone wants to join us for anything else, please let us know. You guys are here second?
I think so. I'm not sure when
Yeah.
I'll be in the town.
Okay.